Hello again, I'm Jane Morrell and welcome to episode 3 of Built Different. Today I'm joined and really pleased to be joined by Luisa, mum of daughter Eliza. Thanks for joining us today, Luisa. It's so great to have you here.
No, thanks for having me.
Louisa, we first met back in 2018 when you started using Carer Solutions Direct Employ Service, which is a very long time ago now. And we've been a part of your NDIS journey ever since then. So we've experienced along with you all the highs, all the lows, and heard about all the enormous challenges that you've had through that time.
Yeah, what a journey it's been.
Yeah, it's been quite incredible. And today we're really excited to hear from yourself as someone with lived experience and hear a little bit more about the realities of families like yours and what it's really like. Mm-hmm. So to start, I'd love you to kick off by just telling us a little bit about yourself and also your family.
Yep. I'm Luisa, mum to two incredibly strong daughters, Molly and Eliza. Mm-hmm. They were both born on the Gold Coast, and when they were quite young, we decided to move to Hobart so that that was where I grew up, and I wanted the girls to have a really good, grounded education, I guess, in a family environment and be with the rest of my family and my cousins and everybody else.
Yeah, great. And looking back from your perspective, when did you first realise that your journey into parenthood and I guess being a parent was going to look very different from what you'd imagined?
Oh, look, I think it was definitely within the first 24 hours of having Eliza.
Yeah.
She was born at the Gold Coast Hospital, born non-responsive, and immediately was taken to the intensive care unit where she spent probably about a week in the intensive care unit. The first 24 hours were really tough. She was sedated. She started having seizures. Things just went really bad really quickly. When she was discharged, we were basically told, she'd have a learning difficulty of some sort. And, after that, we thought she'd come through, I guess, really, really well. And she did. She fought to be here. She nearly wasn't. So I guess that's where we started the navigation.
Yeah, wow. So that was such an intense and incredible experience for you, obviously, very early. And had you had any experience with disability prior to this?
No, absolutely none at all. I think, as you've said in previous episodes, everything was, I guess, for want of another word, hidden. Different schools or not at school. Different buses, as you'd say. I remember going to school on the bus, and the special school bus would trot on past as
absolutely. And I guess with that, not a lot of people understand the realities of being a carer and what a carer actually means. It's not something that is happens for a short period of time or it's fixed. It's for the remainder of your life you're in that role. So I guess many Australians, in saying that, when they do encounter disability, especially more recently, as we're very well aware, it's always through the media. The negative press, the negative headlines. So talk us through a little bit. What does a typical day look like for you as a primary carer?
So for, I guess, raising Eliza right from day one, once we moved to Hobart, we started her physio and rehab programs and started to learn a bit more about what was going on. I remember that first appointment, they said to us, or said to me, because I was the one that took her, that I'd be going, when's she going to start walking and when's this? And they're like, you know she's got cerebral palsy, right? And I was like, no, she's got a learning difficulty. And they went, no. And I went, oh. And then they just kept talking about, this is what we're going to do. And I remember getting in the car afterwards and being like, oh my God, this is going to be huge. And then you do that deep dive into Google and what is this going to look like, and rang who I could think to ring, and I'm like, we weren't told this. So, yeah, when Eliza was young, yes, she has cerebral palsy. She was born with that due to an oxygen loss at birth.
Yep.
She basically needed and still needs 24-hour care with every aspect of her life.
So a typical day for you as such then was just sort of go to woe, sort of around Eliza's needs and where she needed to be appointment-wise, etc.
Eliza, because of her cerebral palsy, couldn't, and she had epilepsy as well. Yep. So everything from rolling her out of bed, lifting her out of bed. If when she was younger, she needed to be carried, she couldn't walk. When she could walk, it was with a walking frame, but she still needed bathing and feeding and toileting and all of her personal care and everything else. Lifting in and out of the car, all of that. And then I think it wasn't really until she got to mid-primary school, she started using a wheelchair, and she went to a mainstream primary school with everybody else, which was interesting within itself at that time because things were also very different. Still, Eliza was off in one room with a teacher's aide on her own, and the rest of the class was out in the main area.
Yeah, interesting.
So she didn't really have that opportunity to engage with the other children as well.
She was in a mainstream setting, but not having that level of interaction that you would perceive in a mainstream school.
Yeah, she always had an adult attached to her, and that was the way it was. You'd see children coming in and out and kids would go, oh, what's wrong with her? Why can't she walk? And it would just be very much like, oh, yes, she can't walk, but she can do everything else that you can do. And
And I think, from everything that you've just explained, it's very clear there's no off switch. It's 24/7, obviously dependent on what's happening on any specific day, but the needs are always there for Eliza. She always needs that continual and intense level of support. So can you talk us through how that has actually impacted your own life in relation to your mental health and your well-being and your ability to self-care?
I guess...
If at all.
If at all. That's a tough one. You live in fight or flight, I guess, in the earlier years. It is very much... I mean, I had two children. I had Molly as well. So you're trying to meet the needs of one, but quite obviously caring for Eliza far more than Molly needed.
Getting a lot more attention, of course.
That always caused the rift
friction
between children anyway.
Yeah, it's such a huge issue.
So, and I think the fact that Eliza needed me for to keep her alive, basically, every portion of a day. So I didn't do self-care. I didn't look after myself at all. I developed some
time or the capacity.
No, really bad coping mechanisms, ran on no sleep, lots of coffee. And it was just, you don't look after yourself, you don't eat well. I always made sure that the kids ate well.
Yeah, of course.
But by the time you sit there and feed somebody for half an hour and then you get them into bed and then you do Molly's homework and then you get it, by that time it's 9 o'clock and you're like, I'm not going to have dinner now, I'm just going to go to bed.
Of course.
Bed is on the floor next to Eliza's bed in case she has a seizure and vomits and can't roll over or anything like that. So, look, I guess as parents of children with disabilities, I would say the majority of us have pretty poor self-care skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Always putting yourself last and neglecting your own sense of self in order to put her needs first at every turn.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. In saying that, obviously, as a part of that, as you've mentioned, Eliza's needs are quite complex, and safety has often been something that's been an issue. You've obviously had to manage situations where that's been a real concern. Without sharing anything that you're not comfortable with, what can you tell us in terms of what that level of responsibility feels like for her personal safety and potentially the safety of others as a parent?
once Eliza turned, I guess, probably around 13 is when it got really tricky to navigate. It was obvious that even though she started at a mainstream high school, it was not going to be safe for her or anybody around her.
Right.
She started having some big responses to, I guess, what everybody else deemed as small things. And she was, I guess, for want of another word, she was the naughty one that wouldn't go into class and wouldn't follow the rules and everything else. And I remember getting the phone call to say, look, she's in a classroom, no one can go near her, can you come and pick her up? And I'm like, yep, okay, on my way. And she was absolutely beside herself. I think it was just a routine change.
Yeah.
And that was basically her end of mainstream high school, because once I'd picked her up, it was very much, oh, look, I don't think this is the right environment for her. So,
got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So she didn't go back.
Which was the comment that you got from the school, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she didn't go back to mainstream school. She was home.
From 13.
Home from 13 for probably about 6 months, because there was nowhere else for her to go. We only had one school that was able to take her and would have been the right environment, and they didn't have capacity at that stage.
Right.
So we waited for a spot.
And obviously through that time you're with her 24/7 at
Oh,
home.
absolutely.
Yeah, through that time where she's not able to be in school.
Yep. And at that stage we were on the NDIS, and it was very much, and it started another little slight discussion about who was responsible for her while she was at home.
Yeah.
So is it, well, that's state government. She can't go to the school, so it's up to them to provide. We're not going to fund support workers while she should be at school.
Which is really interesting, because that was really, I guess, the point where, as you've mentioned, that was your first foray or first introduction into the NDIS. And it's obviously the complexity around the system is incredible, as we know, and you've had to navigate that for many years now. So tell us about that a bit more. Like, what was your journey? What has your journey been like in that sense, and navigating that system and that complexity? Even that point around, state, this is state responsibility versus federal in relation to the question around schooling. Like, it's just all these different level of a complexity that, not a lot of people understand or even know about.
Look, to be able to, I by no means am an expert, but there are, as you say, you need to have a uni degree to even try and, more than a uni degree, to even try and make sense of what is happening.
Yeah.
I've been navigating it now, I think, for over 10 years, and I'm still baffled by some of the things that I get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even at that stage, it's like, well, okay, who do I need to talk to? If you're not going to help me with this, who do I need? Oh, you need to go to your local member, and they need, then he says, you need to go to the education department, and then he says, it's like, look, can somebody just tell me how to get my child back to school?
You've navigated so much of that complexity continuously as Eliza has obviously moved through her life. And I think it'd be great if you could share with us just another example or a time where you felt that decision makers didn't fully understand Eliza's needs or the needs of the family. I know you've got so many.
Oh, gosh, I'm just thinking just one. Which one will I pick? Look, I think
in the NDIS setting.
Yes, there's been so many random sentences said, I guess. The latest one was, we've had 2 ART tribunals that could have so easily been avoided, but that's another story. The latest one was around her housing and getting her set up in the housing area. And we'd been funded for an SDA property and had been for, I think, probably at that stage, maybe 1 to 2 years it had been put in her plan.
Okay.
And look, in saying that, leading up to that, I'd travelled to other states to look at what was available and everything else. We went to AART tribunal, got to the point of, well, you haven't used your SDA funding. Why haven't you? It's like, well, because what you've funded her for doesn't exist in Hobart.
Wow.
And they're like, because they're not in Hobart. They're coming from somewhere else. And they're like, oh, what do you mean it doesn't exist? I said, it hasn't been built yet.
Yeah.
And it's quite a way away from being built. That's why we haven't used it.
Yeah, which is quite astounding considering they should be assessing based on what she has access to, right?
And it was at that time that I think the planner at the time went, oh, okay, just hang on a second, let me look up registration of properties. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, there is one. And I went, okay. She's, oh, it's in Burnie. And I went, yeah, that's hours away from where she lives now.
Yeah.
Her supports and SIL staff don't live 3 hours. They're not going to drive 3 hours to go to work.
Yeah.
And all of her treating doctors and physio and everything is here. But it was more around the fact that I think they wanted to prove that there was one.
Sure.
Rather than going, oh, okay, sorry, yeah, we didn't realise.
Yeah.
So that was probably the main one that I've sort of. That's the recent one.
Yeah. And were the concerns from your, I guess, just to understand a little bit more, were the concerns from your perspective through what your understanding was around safety or Eliza's safety? Would that be fair to say?
Oh, look, at this stage for Eliza has a full autism diagnosis now. She has extreme behaviours of concern or, want of another word, becomes dysregulated very, very quickly.
Yep.
We looked at multiple properties and sharing, and they're like, well, she can share. I'm like, no, she can't. Oh, yeah, but she can. You haven't tried. And I'm like, and we're not going to.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? She said, well, she's funded at 1 to 2. She needs to share. And I'm like, all of her reports, all of her doctors, her behaviour support, her psychologist, everybody says that is not safe. She should not do it.
Yep.
There's your evidence.
Yeah, it's in the report, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
But you haven't provided the evidence that you've actually tried. And I went, and I'm not going to. You're asking me, a mum of a child with complex care needs who crawls to get around the house, who has extreme behaviours, to find a compatible person to live with that I know she's going to put hands on. No, I'm not going to ask another family to do that. It breaches everything I believe in with quality and safeguards and NDIS code of conduct and knowingly asking someone
absolutely
to put another person's child in harm's way.
And, I think the extra astounding part about that is that it was in those reports though, right? In terms of all,
absolutely.
You had the full reports that support your position. And it just didn't seem like that was being read. And I think it's important to understand as well, since you've had your own support workers that you've directly employed, have you had any incidents with regard or any concerns around safety?
No. No, absolutely not. There's all of Eliza's incidents now that we direct employ. She's got staff that want to work with her, so they're there for the right reasons. There have been, I think probably since she's been in her house, maybe one, and it was a disagreement that was de-escalated really quickly. There's been nothing physical, no breakages. All of her incidents now are seizure related. Yes, she still gets anxious and she'll say, this is going to happen or everything else, but we are able to bring the level down, let her have her discussion, give her the space, close the blinds, do what we need to do for her to self-regulate which is what we're meant to do without any restrictive practices or anything like that. She's not on any extra medication to do that. It is 100% environmental and her own choice and control about where she is and how she lives her life.
Brilliant, which is what the goal of the NDIS is, right? Yeah. For her to be able to exercise choice and control.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah. In relation to, I just want to touch on again what you spoke about with ART and going through the tribunal and going through that entire process, the emotional toll that has taken on you, just having to continuously repeat yourself and justify and re-justify and point people back to the evidence that's in those reports. What toll has that taken on you? And
as I said, we've been on the NDIS now for a very long time, and we've had 10 plans. So
wow.
I have done the same thing and gone through the same conversation every year for over 10 years. Putting somebody through living a trauma, and look, I'm not saying my child is a trauma, but how we lived was traumatic.
Yeah.
And that within itself is, as we know, reliving it over and over and over with no change in sight. It doesn't take much from me to go from having a good day to being curled up in the corner in bed.
Of course, understandable. And, you know, it's not just the toll, obviously, it's the incredible toll on you as Eliza's mother, but it's the entire family unit, right? It's a sister Molly, it's everyone else that's in the picture.
Yes, and I think, look, my girls don't have the best relationship now, and a lot of that has got to do with the fact that Eliza put hands on a lot of people when she was going through that tough stage. Molly went down a flight of stairs. There's the thing of one child gets more than the other one does. There's all that other childhood stuff as well.
Definitely.
Without adding in the fact that Eliza had to go to Melbourne for hospital treatments and Molly had to stay with friends. So it's like, I don't know, for me it was like sacrificing what felt like sacrificing one to give to the other.
An incredible position to be put in constantly.
And safety-wise as well. It's a horrible decision, but I had to make it. That it's traumatic and it's still ongoing, and it's affected our, I guess, mum and daughter relationships.
Of course, naturally.
Are tough anyway. But look, the whole thing has an impact on that. I mean, Molly's sick of me talking about Eliza all the time. And that's always, every conversation always comes back to what's coming for Eliza, who's going to look after Eliza, when's the next plan review.
You know, it's so incredible hearing you speak about the emotional toll on yourself and your family as well, the entire family unit. If there was one thing that you could change about the scheme for families like yours, what would that be?
Look, I guess for us, when the scheme first started, it was like, oh, wow, this is going to be amazing and it's going to do this. And we had sit-down planning meetings and we went to offices and we met actual people, and the first two I did on my own. Then while I gauged it and set it up for Eliza, then Eliza started coming and she got to meet people face to face. I think that is the only way moving forward that this is actually going to work, is spend the money at the beginning, knowing the family, knowing what they need, where they live, which state they live in, know the barriers in the state. Tassie's far behind Brisbane and other states. None are the same, and none of any of the rulings and decisions and anything else can be made on just, yep, you've got cerebral palsy, you've got autism, and this is what you're going to get. There are so many varying factors that need to come into it first. If you did that in the beginning, you wouldn't end up at the ART at the end.
Absolutely.
Because you'd actually have an understanding of what the family is trying to tell you.
And critically what the family's moving through. Every day, and what they've experienced from day dot since that child's been born.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, I've seen the media. I know exactly what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, you're on the NDIS. What? No, that's not what it's like for us. Our NDIS money is like gold. We do everything within our power to. Yeah, we buy the cheapest of what we can when we can. We look for budgets. We don't overspend. We don't travel. We don't have cleaners. We don't have gardeners. All we want is enough money to basically have Eliza live independently and safely in her own home.
Yeah, exactly.
And know that that is going to stay like that, not have to justify every single year. We're still living the unknown.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. You know, as you look into the future, you know, with everything that you've been through, you know, the 10 years, the 10 plans, all the emotional toll that it's taken on you and your family, what are your hopes for the future now, with where everything's at the moment?
Look, my hopes for the future are that Eliza has a plan review coming up, that we get some consistency, that we actually have somebody listen and go, oh, okay, that's why it doesn't work. Have you tried this? Instead of going, okay, you must provide us with evidence by blah, 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 or it's like, no, don't threaten. I can't make that happen. And that's sort of where we're at now. We're at this, if you don't do this, you're at a standoff. But if somebody...
Feels like that constantly, right?
Yeah, it's like that all the time. I mean, for me, I am now working full-time within the disability sector. My constant thing is, if Eliza's plan gets cut more, that she can't live the way she needs to, then I go back to giving up work, being a taxpayer, supporting the NDIS, and go back to living on a carer's pension and becoming reliant on the salvos and city missions like I used to for Christmas and presents and everything else. Yes, we've made huge gains, but we're no means where we need to be.
No.
I just want to know that she is safe and secure, that I'm not going to have to ring Molly and go, look, I'm sorry, but I have to force you to go and care for your sister because nobody else will. That's not where we're at.
No.
And that's not what anybody's life should be. I mean, Eliza's fought so far and so long, as we all have. But it's her that is actually the example of where we can get to.
Absolutely.
If we do it the right way. And I think that's, where we're going. I mean, I know we're coming up for provider registration, and I know there's all of these other little things that are coming that are unknown. But I will say for us, being with providers was the worst time I've ever had. Eliza had some horrible incidences while she was with registered providers. I don't think... It doesn't mean you're safe because you've got a piece of paper that says you're safe and you've got to follow the rules.
Yes.
That is not the be-all and end-all for everybody, and I'm not saying that's not every single provider.
Of course.
But there needs to be other options. And families need to have a choice about their lives and their families' lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that actually leads in directly to my next question. We've spoken a lot in previous episodes about the government and the government reforms and the decisions that they're making. If there was one message that you could send to the government, what would that be around, how they need to approach things moving into the future for families like yours?
I think they need to look wider than it's not. Look, 100%, it's not an easy decision.
No.
But it is still also not one situation is going to suit every person.
Yeah, it's not one box fits all.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that's we've always lived so far outside of any box. We are 100% square peg, round hole. Mm-hmm. Not much of what we have done has been normal. Mm-hmm. And it's worked.
Yeah.
So I think the direct employ side for us has been what saved us, because even though Eliza's in Hobart, it might as well be on another planet at the moment, because every state is so different. And lots of other states have lots of other providers. Mm-hmm. We don't have, yes, there are others, but that doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
And we have the evidence to prove that.
Yeah. And you don't have that element of choice or broad options and choices that necessarily suit her. So you've had to look at your own needs.
Yes.
And assess that from your own perspective, and then make the decisions to support her with people that she knows and she trusts.
Yeah, and people that want to be there.
Yep.
Like Eliza's current support team are, while it's only a very small team, they are people that want to be there. They have asked, they've come to me and said, hey, can I work with Eliza? Or one of them's gone, I've got a really great person that I think would be a match for Eliza.
Yeah.
When we were with providers, we had 30, 40 staff coming through the door.
Yeah, wow. It's huge. Huge amount of inconsistency for
huge.
Eliza, and upheaval and constant change.
This is a child who's had the TV on ABC Kids for 15 years.
Yeah.
I used to watch TV on an iPad. So the little things make a huge difference.
Definitely.
I mean, Eliza eats the same thing for tea every Thursday night and has done again for 12 years. So you change one little part of that, and everybody's in a world of hurt.
It's just enormous, and I just want to thank you so much for Luisa for sharing and being so open and so candid with your experience. We absolutely know that everything that you've shared today helps everybody out there. It helps our community so much. People feel seen, people feel heard, and they'll also know that they can share in the fact that other families out there are having, a very similar experience to what they're moving through at the moment, which you feel so isolated when you're going through this experience as a parent, that you feel like, it's difficult to understand, who else is out there, what are they moving through, are they having the same challenges that I'm having? And, where can we just share our views and our thoughts? So, I just want to thank you. It's really important that we share this message and get that out there, and it's definitely going to help so many people.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to have my little say. Look, I hope it helps some people, and that's what we're here for.
Definitely. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thank you.